everyone, welcome to our Core Live. We're so excited this month because we're talking about community to have two of our amazing core sisters from TapThinkTank, Nicole and Janice. And they're going to be joining us from, both of them are actually in Asia and I'm in the US. So this is a transcontinental. Yay! Hey, how are you?
I'm good.
Thank you. We're talking about the power of community, and we have Janice in here. Hello, Bright Light, who just joined. I'm going to try to get Nicole in here. Janice, do you know if she wants to join from her page or the Tapping Think Tank page? I'm going to try the Tap In one because I thought she might want to join in from there. So I'll start there, and then I should have asked her that. But if not, we'll invite her from her page. So anyway, like I was saying, for those of you who are joining or maybe watching this, oh, there she is. Hey! I'm so excited. So first of all, core community, I want to let you know that outside of this being two of our amazing core sisters, this is the first time we've ever done a core IG live with three people. So it's so exciting that I'm being joined by these two phenomenal community builders to talk about this topic, this really powerful and really important topic. So hello, Janice and Nicole. Thank you so much for joining us. And I know some of your friends have joined. I don't know who Bright Light ×2 is, but she has Janice in the comments, and she's so excited to see you. So thanks for joining, Bright Light. And whether you're watching it now or you're going to dial in later, I'm sure you're going to get some great nuggets about the power of community from these two amazing ladies. So how are you both doing?
Very well. Yeah, very well. It's 8 a.m. our time here in Beijing. So early morning. Yeah, really nice to be here, and it's really good to see you.
You too. Thank you for joining. I just told them before you both joined that this is a transcontinental IG live, real for real, because it's 6 p.m. where I am in Mountain Time in the US, but it's 8 p.m. on the East Coast, and then 8 a.m. for you in China time. So love to have this beautiful global community, and that we have technology that can help us have these conversations no matter where we are.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thanks for being here. So let's jump in. So I want, we don't have a long time, but this month's theme is really about the power of community. And when I actually talked to Nicole about it before I left China, and I told her, I definitely want you to join in July. And the reason why was because of this topic. But I thought this would be such a great time for both you and Janice to do. You guys are such great teammates and partners when it comes to TapThinkTank, which I think is an unbelievable community that's doing great things and touching so many parts of people's lives, which is what, people's stories. So I wanted to invite both of you to talk about it from your different perspectives, because I know that although, Nicole, you are the founder, that Janice is a very strong lead for the think tank, and that you guys do so much, you guys co-create and do so much work together in the community. So I just want to start first for those that don't know you, for you just telling us a little bit about who you are and what your passions are.
Sure. Janice, do you want to start?
Yeah, I'm happy to start. So I am first so delighted to be here with two amazing sisters, friends, just two amazing ladies that share so much passion with me and so many things. And being part of Think Tank has definitely been an awakening in community for me, because there are so many things that I love to do in community, and so many things I love to share as well. And joining Nicole and being part of Nicole's Think Tank has been a real space of growth, and really just highlighted the power of what it is to be together and share what we have to give with community. And I feel having our different skill sets, Nicole and I, we complement each other so well with the same goal. We came together doing Race Equality Week in Beijing, and that was really the seed of really bringing our knowledge, our passion, our understanding, our different perspectives together to create conversation, to create spaces where uncomfortable conversations can be had, and we can still leave feeling good, knowing that we have grown ourselves and helped other people grow as well in their understanding. And that's, for me, that's what it is to be part of TapThinkTank. And my areas of passion are peace education, trauma, diversity, equity and inclusion. Like all of these things, it's a space for all of these conversations to take place. I'll hand over to you.
Yeah, in a nutshell, that's really what it is, isn't it? I mean, TapThinkTank really is about belonging. It's about creating spaces where we have experiences and programs that are really focused on the idea or the concept of inclusion, but what that is in practice, what is that in action. I think dialogue is wonderful, and we do a lot of that, don't we, Janice? We come together and we bring women and men together to discuss and unpack and have those bold conversations that you're talking about. But I think one thing that I love about the work that we do together and in our own spheres of influence is also to really encourage action, to really think about the practical ways in which we can change our environment, you know, where we work, where we live, where we eat and drink and socialize, as well as in our professional spaces as well. So it's about bridging the dialogue with the action. And I think that's what TapThink's all about.
Oh, I love that. I love that. Because, you know, when you talk about action and why you're bringing people together, you're like, words are great, but people are really looking for answers. When they come to your community, it's like something's drawing them, and they're looking to take away something that they can actually, you know, implement the next day. And a lot of your events and the things that you do in the community allow people that opportunity. So you're definitely, you know, effective in what your purpose is. So, we're talking about rising together, and I know both of you guys have touched on a little bit about the work that you do, you know, individually and also together. But when you hear that term "rise together," what does that mean to you?
If you'd like to go first, Nicole, and then I can add on.
Rising together. When I was looking at that question, I was thinking to myself, it's so multifaceted, isn't it? What it means to really come together as a community. For me, rising together is about first unlearning some things. I think there is an aspect of learning and there's an aspect of unlearning. And without those two things kind of happening together, we cannot rise together. We have to have a basic foundational understanding of certain things and each other in order for us to like elevate, right? In order for us to rise together and be the best versions of ourselves. That sounds very cliche, but I think rising together involves some discomfort, because without, you know, there has to be some growth pains, if you like. So I think, you know, there's so much good in uniting and being together and offering support and guidance as a community of educators, because that's our background, but also really delving into the hard issues, unpacking them together without judgment, in love where possible, so that then we can move forward and push forward. So those are the kind of things that came to mind when you said rising together.
Love that. Thank you.
When I was thinking of rising together, it was definitely, it's always important to remember that we're all at different stages in our own path. So I think when we hear the word together, it's very easy to think we're all rising at the same time and at the same stage, but really we are all walking different paths for different reasons. Nice part of it, learning. Part of it is some people actually finally finding a space for their voice. Some people understanding they even have a voice. And so when we're together, is that we are all, you know, walking different paths, different stages in our lives, but, you know, helping each other get to the next stage, whatever that is. We're all going towards the same finish line. We all have different goals and objectives, but using our different skill sets, or access to community or knowledge or any kind of, resource, help each other to get to the next stage on the journey we're on.
That's so powerful. I love the unlearning part. That's really important, because I think when I think of rising, I think about progression, and sometimes you can't move forward if you don't unlearn the wrong things. And then I love what you said, Janice, about us all being in different levels. And if you think about a staircase, everyone doesn't have to be on the same step, but if you're still moving up, doesn't mean you're not moving upward. So both of those are just really powerful perspectives that you shared. So, and when we think about community, they have all kind of impacted us. There's so many different parts of our lives that kind of community comes into play. Do either one of you have a time, or both of you have a time that community has really impacted you in a way to where it completely changed your trajectory of your life or career?
That's a big one, isn't it? Yeah, I mean, I don't know about you, Janice, but living and working abroad has been like a really pivotal change. That's really made me the person that I am. There's so many things that have happened and so many things I've been involved in and had to learn and grow from in the context of this expat world. And so the importance or the idea of adopted family and coming together with people from different backgrounds, like you said, Janice, like different places, different areas of growth and different stages of their life, and learning to not survive, but to grow in progress without your immediate family around. And so I think my whole journey really as an expat has been pulling from the strengths of others. A lot of strong women in my life, Janice included, you including Aisha, and really being able to provide but also accept the support that's needed along this journey when you don't have your immediate family around, where you are navigating different social spaces with people from different ethnic and cultural backgrounds, and different views and perspectives and just ways of being. You need a solid foundation, you need solid people around you. And so there's been multiple situations, along the way that have, reminded me of the importance of not just building, but being in community with others in order to get on.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing. Okay.
I could just add on very quickly to that. I think it's also important to never underestimate the width of your community. As you know, recently I had a very significant loss in my life, but the community from, being in Scotland, and from the world, from all the countries I've lived in, and my friends, and that's just my family abroad, that also was a huge part of getting me through that time. And in going through that difficult period of losing my mother, I thought that was restricted to being in Scotland, but the power of the friends and the family I've made over the many years living abroad, that was the community from around the world that has really been holding me and held me in that difficult time. So I think in just thinking about community, it doesn't have to be next door, even though that's wonderful when you have your friends close by. But it's like, the community can really be as big as the world, as I saw in recent weeks.
I love that, Janice. Thanks for sharing. Those virtual hugs can be just as tight, right? And for those of you that may be watching this now or later, Nicole and Janice are both referencing our international community, and Nicole said expat, which is essentially women like us that have moved abroad and have found a way, have established our lives in a country that's not our own, and set up our families, and and have these chosen family members around us, or people that are part of our community. And it does make a difference. Hi, Rakisha. Rakisha just joined.
Hey, Rakisha.
And so, and this is really good to think about because, we all need each other. All three of us have, lived this. You guys have also actually been abroad longer than I have. And, there are just times where, if it's your mom or your dad or someone that's in your community, it's easy to reach, for the phone and pick it up and say, hey, I need you to come, take my child to soccer, or, you know what I mean, takes Lux to swimming lessons, you know what I mean, that kind of
Right.
thing. And it's easy, but then, you get into the point where you're in this community, it's hard to ask for help. And not just, these are practical things that I'm just mentioning, but there's just like, I need a hug, or I need a moment, or can we grab coffee? Just asking for help for people that you may have only known for a short time. I do feel like relationships are accelerated in this space. So when it comes to asking for help, how have you all kind of learned to do that? And what does that look like for you in the international setting, or just in whatever communities that you've like kind of grown with over the last several years?
Yeah, I think relationships definitely are accelerated. Fast friends is a thing
Mhm.
when you are living abroad. Um, and I lost a friend, a very dear friend, a co-worker as well, here in Beijing about 4 or 5 years ago. And that was a very, very difficult time. And that changed the trajectory of my life, actually, of what it meant to be in this space and work in this space. And I actually found it very difficult to ask for help during that time because everything was so unprecedented. I've never been through a scenario situation like that. And so I was really learning off the cuff, learning as I go of how to deal with that, how to deal with loss and grief, but also next of kin responsibilities for somebody who you've shared this world with, working abroad. And so that was a growth area for me. So I found it very challenging to ask for help. But what was great is that when you're really intentional about the friendships that you make here, intentional about cultivating it and feeding it, and offering of yourself, I found that people were naturally, sending me, cakes, to my door, and pastries, and notes of support and love, and not overcrowding me, but saying, I'm here, we are here. And so that allowed me the space that I needed. But it also reminded me, okay, I do have my tribe, I do have a community here that I can tap in, so to speak.
Yeah.
And that's where I was able to feel encouraged.
Mm, I love that. So happy you had that in that time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very similar.
I would
Um,
that I'm happy. Like, if anyone ever asks me to help them, I'm always extremely honored. So I feel like being intentional, like Nicole with friendship groups, is the same. I feel if you're at a level of comfort to ask, then therefore, there's that mutual honoring of each other.
a mutual honoring. I love that. The powerful. Has anybody modeled this well for you? I know I talk a lot about my mom, and I think my mom did that for me. When I think about her, she opened her doors to people my whole life. I had to share my bed. I slept in the room with her because we lived in a really military transient town, and she was a single mother, and she had a heart for single mothers, and then she did foster care for many years. So I feel like community building starts from my viewpoint of her. Are there any women in your life that helped you see the importance and the power of community, and that may have helped shape why you're the way you are today?
I'm happy to start, actually. I have 3 women growing up that really impacted me. My mother, who did a lot of on-the-ground community work, like she was part of running a youth center that was like 50 cents a day, and that offered, an option for children that didn't go on holiday or parents were working. And she was part of that for around 20 years. Then I had my godmother, who would do a lot of charity work, Auntie Janice, and she would do a lot of charity work for children with heart conditions. And she'd kind of famous people in Scotland and have quite a high profile there. And then I had this amazing Marlene, who was my boss, but also dear friend, and she's someone who also gives to community and charity work and organizing events. So I had 3 different women in three different levels of taking action in their surroundings. But that really inspired me at different stages in my life to contribute to wherever I am in any way I can.
Yeah. I think I can actually pinpoint the time in which it became very real to me what it means to have compassion and what it means to have empathy for others. And I think I want to go straight back to the beginning when I was very young and with my church family. They had a lot of outreach programs. And so obviously I was there with my family and my church family, and we would always be feeding the poor. We'd always have the doors open. People were coming in. My pastors at the time were, I remember the pastor's wife would be making like bunsen cakes, and there'd be hot tea and coffee available after every service or every prayer service. And I just remember this outpouring of love, no matter where you're coming from. A lot of people were coming from, destitute situations, but they were treated with love and kindness and accepted. And I remember seeing that as a young child, and that followed me throughout. So wanting to help, have a natural unction, I guess, to want to be there for somebody who might be in need, and offer, if it's a hot tea or a cup of coffee or a slice of cake or whatever it may be, the little is just as important as the more grand gestures of support. But I do remember specifically just growing up in that environment and learning what it is to give.
Thanks for sharing that. And you guys have been living through, community, building since you were younger. You're doing a lot of work now, and very intentional work. And it all sounds great, and you all make it look easy. But let's talk a little bit about some of the misconceptions of community building and some of the roadblocks and some things that you might run into that make it hard when you're really, really passionate for bringing people together for a common reason, to have the conversations, but also do the actions, like you said at the beginning, Nicole. So let's talk a little bit about that.
Janice, I think we've had some recent learnings about this, haven't we? The misconceptions that people might have about the work that we do in the community. Do you want to start on that?
I think, yeah, I mean, we are very passionate about the work that we do and bringing people together. And there is sometimes, of course, there's a financial cost and investment in that. And I think people are not involved in the logistics of not just what it takes energetically and organizational skills, and also just what I call the 3D, like the nuts and bolts of getting spaces and resources. There can be misconceptions, kind of extravagant project, and that we are making lots of money out of this. I mean, that seems a bit blunt, but I mean, when there's absolutely not, it's community work, it's hard work, it's passion work, and we are making every resource go to the fullest. And I feel when people have not got any experience in that, it can be a bit difficult for them to understand what's going on behind the scenes. And I'm sure yourself as well, Aisha, you put on amazing events in Beijing and beyond, and there's a lot that goes in, a lot of intention that goes into creating these spaces and the finer details. And sometimes we've come across different parties that have struggled to understand that and not understand where our intention is coming from. The goal is to create community and safe spaces and conversation and comfort, and everything that goes into that sometimes can get misunderstood or criticized. I guess criticism is very important, feedback's very important, but I would say that's also sometimes a bit of a roadblock or a struggle or a learning. Often when we have situations, I always say to Nicole, what have we got to learn from this? After what is the lesson? What is the lesson?
Yeah.
After
her question.
And I love that, because we get to bounce off each other. I think, I've been doing community work for a very long time, majority of it, on my own, essentially. And so working with Janice, it has been such a breath of fresh air to have her lens, her perspective, her approach, because we have different approaches to even our, how we plan, right? And so there's an inside joke there. I won't go into that. But yeah, it's been really nice to be able to deal with those challenges together, right? And to sit down and be, okay, like, what's the learning here? Rather than taking on a grievance of some kind. What can we learn? What can we do better? What can we do less of? What can we do more of? And I think for me, one of the misconceptions is as well when you're creating these spaces that they are quite exclusive. So it's weird because we're all about inclusion and belonging, how we can foster that. But actually, I have found in the work that we do that a lot of people feel like, oh no, this is not for me. This is not a space that I can enter into freely, boldly, and express myself. And so trying to break that down, or the stigma of, just because something might be uncomfortable, conversation might be uncomfortable, or we're talking about things that perhaps you dare not even, talk about behind closed doors, never mind in like a public forum. Trying to demystify these things and say, yes, no, actually, you not only should be a part of the conversation, you need to be a part of it. And that's what I've come across.
I love that. Yeah, it's an investment, definitely. And then as you're investing, I want to loop back around to that. But what you're saying is really important, like getting people to realize that they need to be in the room. And when they leave, they always are like, I'm glad I came, but actually helping them understand, like, this is an exclusive experience. And this is something that is really important. And, you should just, like really invest in yourself. You guys are making an investment, but them showing up with the time and just taking the time to invest in themselves, we always leave you all's, community events and with, so much purpose and feeling of, I know I can speak for myself, and I feel the heartbeat of the care and passion that you guys you care about people and them really leaving with something. So I know that can be a misconception too. I love the part like we're getting rich off of that. Like, girl, if that was the case, we'd be today. But when you are investing into people, pouring into people, doing all the work, and it's a lot, right? How do you, I know the question that I shared with you all, but what I'd like for you to speak to is, what do you do for yourself to keep yourself from burning out? But how do you keep going when that's the thing? Like, that's an important question. How do you keep going? Because you guys show up and you show up so well and you make it look easy, but we know it's not, right? So how do you do that?
Yeah, I don't know if you want to start, Janice, or you want me to weigh in first.
Please go first, Nicole.
Yeah, I think, for me individually, like me as a person, I am kind of like on the go. I find it very, very difficult to stop. So I get quite restless if I'm not in motion, right? Whether that be spiritually, whether that be academically, whether that be socially sometimes. And so I have a wonderful support network in the form of my husband, who is able to help slow me down, but also remind me, okay, there are sometimes you need to say no to a certain thing, but also, I'm very detail orientated, and that takes a lot of time when you're planning, when everything must be a certain way. So I think, learning to be a little bit more kind and softer with myself and not so critical of myself, and that what I've done is enough. And that no ends with a full stop. In America, it's a period, right? That's a full sentence. So like learning that you can say no, learning to have those kind of boundaries set for yourself, so that you can care, that you can self-care. But I think it's different for every woman, how we decompress, how we can kind of lean a little bit more inwards, so that we can rest, so that we can fill up our cup, so that we can pour out again to other people. And so for me, it really can change over, it kind of ebbs and flows with how I do that. You know what I mean? Like sometimes it might be just really taking a step back and, saying to others, I'm taking a moment for myself and not begrudging myself that. Sometimes it's making sure that I'm getting sunlight and I'm going outside and I'm exercising or I'm walking. and making sure that I'm investing in myself in like body, mind, and spirit. You know, if you're spiritual anyway, or you know, you have a certain belief system, like plugging into that, you know, as a source of filling up your cup as well. And for me, that's also plugging into my church community here in Beijing, and prayer life and those kinds of things. But kindness, starting off with kindness first.
So important. Thank you.
Just to add on, sorry, what were you going to say?
No, how about you, Janice? I was just asking you.
For me, similar to Nicole, for me it's about practice. It's having a daily practice, and for me that is doing some breath work. I do a daily reading from the Book of Awakening by Mark Nepo, which allows me to reflect and to meditate, and that could be as little as 3 minutes a day, but that contributes to me greatly. Having a walk daily, and so it's nothing fancy, it's nothing, you know, out there, but it's something I commit to: the reading, the walking, and the sleep. Outside doing the work, I do. So Nicole, for me, my dream day is going to bed at 8:30. You know, like to be in bed at 8:30 p.m. I just love myself so bad. Like again, it's not extravagant, but it's like these are the things that nourish me.
Wow, thanks. Yeah, and I've seen that with both of you all, and I think that you guys are really good, both good at, you know, finding ways to fill your own buckets, and that's what keeps you going. So I really appreciate that about you. We're actually at time, and I knew this was going to fly by. I knew it was. It's like a talk I always love. But, you know, instead of asking a question, it's just, you know, I'll give you a moment to think. I want you to leave like one thing you want to leave with whoever watches this back on YouTube or whatever platform they watch it on. And just, you know, it could be something in your spirit from like the experiences you've gone through recently. It could be about community. But if you can just do 2 things for me, both of you, in whatever order you want, just drop, you know, just one nugget that you'd like to leave with the audience, and also tell us kind of where to find you and what, like, if there's anything big going on, how anyone that, you know, our friends that are our core sister community can follow you and be part of the great things you're doing.
Yeah, so I want to leave all the women watching with this. You have inherent value. And you are enough. You're more than enough. And I think we question that a lot. But we are inherently valuable in many different ways. But also, you know, you address, you know, Janice and I as leaders in our communities, but I often feel like we co-lead with the women around us. We are natural leaders in different facets of our life, whether it's being a sister, a mother, an aunt. There's so many ways in which we guide, in which we counsel, in which we support, and that is a form of leadership in so many ways. And so we are co-leading together. And I hope that's what we can do at Tap and Think Tank. You can reach us at Tap and Think Tank on Instagram, and also Tap Into Talks. And yeah, check us out and have a look at what we do.
And you're on LinkedIn, right?
I'm on LinkedIn as well.
Okay.
You can just search me by name.
Okay.
Just to add on to Nicole, I would say my message is that everything matters. It matters. What we do matters. And yes. Alone, in community, and never forget that.
Yeah.
Thank you. And well, ladies, big virtual hug to you. As we mentioned earlier, love you both, and thank you so much for time, especially Janice. I know you've had a hard couple of weeks, but showing up for someone as part of your community like you do so well, I really appreciate both of you taking time, and all of the people that have joined us live and the people that are watching later. Thank you so much for taking time to listen to this important topic from 3 people who really, really believe in community. So, and I'm happy that both of you are part of mine. So.
Thank you.
Love
you. Lots of love.
Bye.
Bye.